us on the other side. Thank you, Jamie, for remembering to record. There would have been some pretty miffed people if we'd forgotten that this time. Um, and today you're here for a democracy briefing. We do these every other Monday. We're today's briefing is super exciting because we get to showcase some new tech that we're going to be using, some of which is familiar but updated, and some of which is new for us in terms of using it here at Demcast. So um, really excited to get going. Jamie, you want to take it away for the first part here?
Yeah, so I'm sure, I mean, everybody on the call has used our social media toolkits. We did a test run over the last couple of weeks, and now we're really ready to launch out the new and improved toolkits. So that's why we're so excited to have Tudor here to walk us through it, give us some examples of how to use it, and a preview of what's to come in it. If you guys have questions during this portion, please feel free to use the Q&A, and we will get to as many as we can before Tudor needs to hop off. So take it away.
Thanks, Jamie. Really appreciate it. My name is Tudor. I'm one of the co-founders at SoSha. We used to be called Speechify. We changed our name to SoSha in October to better reflect our mission. Our mission is to help orgs drive organic engagement through the power of their communities. Demcast is actually the first, we call them design partners. So the very first early adopter that started using our platform and helped us design even the first version of it. Nick and I actually connected because I wrote an article in Forbes 4 years ago, and that article got, I think, 8,000 retweets. And then I reached out to Nick and I was like, what's going on? How come by you just tweeting something, you managed to get so much reach for this article? And he was like, yeah, we do this every week. So this is when Demcast was just starting, and that really made me think that there was a way to really help orgs harness this power of organic sharing as a reliable alternative to advertising. One of the cool things that Demcast has been doing in the last 4 years is prove that if you actually curate and you build a community and you keep folks engaged, there is really a great power to organic social that can actually be an alternative to advertising in a sustainable way. And we've been working together for the last 4 years with Demcast feedback to make a better and better product. And yeah, I would join even at 5 a.m. if they asked me to do that because of it, right? Everything we've done in the last 4 years has been geared towards helping digital organizers and digital activists in the progressive space create better and better ways to generate this organic engagement. And the new platform we're going to show today is really a result of that. Also want to spend some time after the demo to just give everyone some insight into what's next, and also just share an encouragement and an ask. If you have any feedback, please give it. Everything we've built was based on feedback. We're good at building technology, but we're only as good as the feedback we receive, because you all are the ones who are doing the work, who are sharing the posts, who are building coalitions, who are driving narratives and turning messaging into social posts. So it's really your feedback is really important into making better and better tools. So thank you so much for that in advance. And I will now share my screen and show you what the new toolkits look like. We'll be looking at them first on desktop, then on mobile. And then if there's any questions, I'll be happy to take those. here you go. So this is what the new toolkits look like. A couple of big changes here. There is just one page instead of two, right? The old toolkits required you to land first on a page, choose your social network, and then see the posts. On this, in the revamped toolkits, there is just one page. It takes one click for you to get to the content. The instructions page at the top can be used in different ways by the orgs that build these toolkits. So you'll probably see them cast iterating with what these look like. You can add images, you can hyperlink things, you can highlight, you can bracket, you can add bullet points, all sorts of things that you can add on this side, and you'll be seeing these toolkits evolve because we've created an easy way for these instruction pages to change. Then what you see below are the posts themselves. Another big change in reducing another click is that from now onwards on these new toolkits, the social networks are changed at the post level. Right, so on the old toolkits, there would be a toggle at the top where you change the social network, and then the entire page would load again. On this, it's as easy as you click on the social network that you like, you share, then you move to a different social network and you can share again. So reducing the number of steps exponentially. I'll go to sharing in just a second, but just wanted to show you what features you have to help you navigate through these posts. We have on the side a bunch of filters that allow you to, for instance, see all content for one social network. You can just click the social network, and then all of the posts will show for that particular social network. Or you can switch between multiple. We used to call them categories, we call them labels, which is ways of organizing the posts on a toolkit. Let's say I want to see all of the posts for reproductive freedom. I can see them at a glance. And then if I want to see all posts for reproductive freedom that are good for TikTok, I'll click on TikTok too, and I would only see the posts at the intersection of these two choices. If then I want to see all TikTok posts for reproductive freedom and for video, I'll only get this one. Right, so you have a lot of control here as a sharer to flip through all of these, to use all of these filters to help you get the content that you wish, or you can just scroll through them easily. How does sharing happen? So let's take a couple of examples. I'll want to share this post. As you can see, another innovation here is that posts don't need to have a link anymore. So the organizers actually have full flexibility in creating this content. It can be post with text and a link, post with text and an image, post with text and a video, post with just a bunch of hashtags and a video. So full flexibility, and also we've increased the limit for videos up to 2.5 minutes. So I'll be using this one to share. Click on share with X. There'll be a window that opens that tells me what the next steps are. And then the video is passed on. 1 second here. One thing to notice is, so let me share again. Right, we'll go to the social network. And then as you can see, the pop-up stays with me on the side. So that's another innovation on this platform where the instructions for sharing follow you at every step of the way. Right, and then the text carried over, and now I can actually bring in the image or the video, and I can simply add it to the post itself. And I can do that by opening the downloads. I'll be adding the image into the post and I can share it easily. On mobile, there's no need for that because the images would download automatically, but on desktop, this on desktop, there's no need for us to carry those over automatically. Right. Same thing for the other social networks. One thing to remember is always on desktop, we need to download the assets unless they're carried over, unless they're with a link, because there's no way for us to carry them over automatically, but on mobile that is possible, and I'll show you how that works in a bit. So same flow on Facebook, it opens Facebook. I paste my text, and then I can get the image or the video and add it in my post. And you can see it here. I'll now be switching over to mobile to see also how the interaction looks there. Stop my screen for a second. And then we can move to mobile. Well, sharing my screen again, and well, I hope everyone can see my screen. And I'll be accessing the same toolkit on mobile. So as you can see, the experience is really cool because the videos are playing in real time. You can actually walk through them and see them, see a preview of them easily. One of the big innovations you'll notice is that we've actually added threads and TikTok as well. So let me show you how these would work. So I'll just share with threads. Click on share. I have a pop-up that tells me what to do. The sharing on mobile is essentially similar to how it was before, right? So we need to find the Threads app. Open it. Then the video would carry over, and I simply need to paste the text. We actually encourage folks to use mobile more and more because it allows you to actually share native content in just a couple of clicks with no download. That's if I have one wish for this year is really for folks to start using mobile more and more. It gives us much more control over sharing, and it's just really 2 clicks to get the content. We don't need to download anything. At most, you need to paste the text on certain social networks. Let me go back and also show you another platform. I know Jamie has been asking about TikTok for a while. So let's see how sharing on TikTok would work. Click on share with TikTok, same steps. Then click on share. I'll choose TikTok. I'm taken over to TikTok. And then again, the video carries over. I'll click on next. And I'll paste the text. And then you're then ready to post. So really super simple. It's worth doing this a couple of times just to make sure you get it right. But afterwards, once you get the hang of it, it will be very easy for you to actually share content. So getting back here. The other platforms are similar. I know folks have been asking for all apps so that you can share on other platforms like Spoutable. This is coming. We wanted to make sure we got the most popular platforms first, but we will be doing that very soon. Let me take different ones. So let's say Instagram. Sharing with Instagram brings another really cool feature that basically allows you to choose between a story and a feed. So I'll click on Instagram. As you can see, I can choose between reel, post, story, and message. I'll be choosing a post. And then you just need to paste the caption. And that's it. You can really use this on all social networks easily. I'll stop my screen sharing to see if anyone has questions.
I see quite a few on the Spoutable, Mastodon, Blue Sky. And the goal is to get the all apps enabled. And then you'll just be able to click on that platform. And then there is a question on using this on iPad.
So one trick you can already do, you click on X and then you choose Spoutable, and you can still share the X copy on Spoutable, right? So when you go to, once you click on the social network, you can really choose which other one you want once the app menu opens. That's a trick even in the meantime.
That's on
that you can
mobile,
use.
on mobile specifically.
That's correct. Yeah. Also, the all apps function only works on mobile when we enable it. Any other question?
I've just seen a lot of positive feedback. So
Yay.
Does it work on iPad? That was a
It should be,
question.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, all platforms, all types of devices are supported.
and then there was another question with the desktop app, the image file does not relate to the message. How do we know which image to drag into the post?
So the file name, when you were dragging the file over to put it into the post, it wasn't representative of what the message was. So how do people know which one?
That's an excellent question. We're actually changing that. I've told our team to keep the original file name. So that's something we'll be changing very soon to make sure. But that means you as toolkit creators will have to be
Actually
very
name our stuff.
careful about how you name certain things.
Well, also, I think, yeah, I mean, the user does have power there because you can change the view with how you're looking at the folder and look at thumbnails instead of a list. And so there's ways to combat that even if the name doesn't get fixed.
Yeah, no, we will do that. It's on our short list of things to do. We receive that feedback consistently, even on the old platform. It's something that's coming very soon.
Then when will this roll out? We have done a couple of test runs, but I think we're ready to roll it out. This is the current toolkit we have. It's kind of a 2024 catch-all. We've got critical Senate races, some House races in there, Biden, Harris, some 11 films content. So there's a little bit of everything in this toolkit so far. So give it a go. And if you guys have any feedback, if you're in our Slack, Tudor's in Slack, you can post it there, or you can email us and we can pass it on. You can just email admin and we'll get it passed on to Tudor for any feedback. So.
And as always with toolkits, we urge folks to think of the posts that we're putting out in these toolkits as a starting point, and sort of make it your own. Add your own sort of flair to it, and because the algorithms really like posts to at least be a little bit different from each other. If there's a ton of the same exact posts, then those are all going to get shoved down in the algorithm. So just make sure you're sort of adding it, even just an emoji or something, just to make it a little bit different.
And then our goal with these toolkits is that each platform is going to have different messaging according to what platform you're on. You know, Twitter, TikTok, you can maybe be a little edgier. Facebook, you probably want to be a little bit, you know, more neutral, so people feel comfortable. So that's our goal on this new toolkit. It's going to make it a lot easier to create the post, because on the old one behind the scenes, you had to create many posts to do that. And so it got really confusing looking at it behind the scenes. And so the goal is we'll make it easier to have, you know, well, maybe a longer post for Facebook, or adding more, you know, hashtags to Instagram. So.
And Jeffrey asked a good question in chat. Will our old toolkits continue to work?
So here, one just technical aspect, what you see here is a completely new platform. It's built on a new code base. The reason why we did that, we've actually been working on it for the last 9 months. We wanted to make sure that this year we actually build a platform that can handle even millions of shares at the same time. So this is rock solid, but the fact that we built it on a new code base means that there's actually no connection between the old platform and this one. That being said, we can carry content over. The easiest way to make sure your old toolkits work is actually, so what we're planning on doing is redirecting the old URLs that you're using and you have them spread in the community to the same toolkits built on the new platform, right? So we can fully control the URLs. That being said, if you have toolkits that you don't want to use anymore, you can just sunset them and start building one on the new platform, and we'll make sure that we carry the content over from one to the other, right? So that's actually the idea, not having to build everything from scratch again, especially the Demcast content libraries and all of the content you've been building across the years. But this is more of a organizer toolkit creator question.
Right, for sure.
The people who work behind the scenes with us, you know, we started some testing, and we'll continue that for the next week, and then we'll get everybody else onboarded. So any other questions for anyone? And I think the last thing Tudor was going to do is give us a little preview of what's coming in the new platform that you don't even see yet.
Yeah, so we have a couple of exciting new announcements and features we're launching. And there are really three. One of them is, one of the biggest weaknesses of the current platform is that users cannot upload their own images and videos. That's our first priority. So let me explain how this would work. You'd actually be able to go onto a toolkit and you'll see a post without an image. And instead of the image, it's saying upload your own. You'd click, and then you'd be able to take a picture with your phone or a video, and then use it with the suggested image or hashtag. In the second iteration of this, you would even be able to add a filter to that image or video that will work exactly how those old Facebook profile filters worked, right? So you could add the Demcast logo, or a certain type of messaging onto your actual picture before you actually share it on your own social networks. We're doing this to go further into helping folks create authentic content, and also that is easy, more personal, and engaging. So this is the first thing we're planning. The second part is, as Nick was mentioning, building unique posts is important. And we've actually been some of the folks on the call would know, SoSha has been a pioneer in the generative AI space. We rolled out the first version in 2020 and iterated since then. We now have great adoption rates for how AI works for campaign managers. A lot of the content you see on the toolkit has been edited with AI to optimize it and create variations. In the next couple of months, we actually plan to build the AI to you as sharers so that you can then make sure you get a unique version of your posts that is built around the main narrative of that post, but in your own voice, and you're able to customize it easily. If you want to add more emojis, you can get emoji suggestions. If you want to change the beginning or the ending, you could do that too. The idea here is to really make sure that every post that goes out from a toolkit is unique, but at the same time keeps the main narrative that the original draft wanted to convey. And we've been doing small tests to make sure that this would work well. And when we're ready to do a larger test, we'll obviously reach out to Demcast as one of the main partners to test this at scale and then roll it out to everyone. The third thing Demcast has been asking for a very long time, and I think we're in a position to actually deliver on it, is helping getting the chance to you all as sharers to create an account on SoSha and then subscribe to get notifications from Demcast every time a new toolkit is being launched. And I actually would love if there is a way to do a poll to see how many folks would actually do that. That would be important, because this is probably one of the biggest changes we will be making. It's substantial because you as a sharer will be able to not only subscribe for your favorite orgs, but also be able to keep your social share activist score, even if you share from multiple orgs in the progressive space. And ultimately, in time, you would get personalized AI suggestions. If you keep customizing things in a certain way, the AI will then learn from that and give you personalized sharing suggestions based on the drafts that an organization puts onto the toolkit. This is really, like, in 4 years, this is probably the biggest change we're making, and that's why we'd really love feedback here in terms of whether folks will be using something like this. It's kind of like how Mobilize works for events, where you can subscribe for events. This way, you wouldn't need to swim through multiple toolkits. You would always get notifications from your favorite orgs and be able to keep updated. I would just say the ease of sharing without an account will still stay. You won't be forced to log in. This is only for sharers who want to share more easily, who can get subscriptions and so on. But our original philosophy that people should not have to share any personal identifiable information if they don't want to, that will still stay. Right? So
I dropped the poll up. So
thank you.
So yeah.
This is very useful.
We have a 3% no, 69% yes, and 30% maybe. So
I would actually love to hear from the ones who say maybe, what would determine them to use such a feature, because that's how we can make it better. As I said, our initial idea of you sharing content in just one click without logging in will stay. This will only be for people who would want to. And yeah, to Jill's point, indeed, what we've noticed is that many of you actually use social toolkits from multiple orgs. And we just want to make it easier for you to get that content rather than having to chase it across the internet to find the right toolkits in Twitter rooms, in different apps, and so on. So just making that easier for folks. But indeed, this is a feature that we'll be co-creating together. So it's very important for us to take into account what your wishes would be, especially if you're hesitating about certain aspects of it. One last thing I'll say, with users logging in, would finally be able to get rid of that damn paste functionality. So you won't need to paste the content manually anymore. Everything would be carried over automatically, which is something we cannot do right now without users logging in.
Yeah, and then there is a Q&A, but that's more of a kind of like by how is this priced, analytics, that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you want to drop an email in that they can reach out more directly. So
yeah, sure. In the Q&A, I don't think I see that. Is there a
yes,
separate?
um,
But yeah, I'll drop yeah, my email and
and then there's a question on Mastodon. I look forward to having it on the platform. I don't see a way to post setup for another platform to modify and post on Mastodon. Is there a way to do that?
can you repeat that, please?
I use Mastodon. I look forward to having
Yeah.
it on the platform. In the meantime, I don't see a way to use a post setup for another platform to modify and then post on Mastodon. Is there a way to do that?
Can I don't think I followed that.
I think so. For there in the meantime, a platform that's not currently on the list of available social platforms is I'll just copy the text and download the media, whatever the media is, whether it's a graphic or a video, and then it's in my phone's uh, photo drive, or it's on my desktop hard drive, and then I can just go over to the platform, paste the text in a post, and then upload the content. That's how I'm doing it currently. I don't know if you have any other tricks, Tudor, other than doing it that way.
I mean, so once the all apps feature will launch, then that'll be easier. The reason why I'm hesitating to provide feedback on this is because I'm honestly at the moment not fully familiar with how sharing on Mastodon and Spoutable works. So I don't know what the actual specifications of a post look like. Right? And that's why I'm hesitating to say you should do this and this. I promise that I'll get our team to research this in detail. That's also why we create these specific channels for each of these. For instance, when I was sharing on TikTok, I knew that the type of content that was enabled on SoSha to share on TikTok would work for TikTok, right? So we do a lot of tests to make sure that everything works on each device and so on. Whenever we go onto a platform that is not one of those, we're kind of in uncharted territory because the platforms change from today to tomorrow, from the sharing on iOS differs from the sharing on Android and so on. All right. So what we can do here is really get the most popular ones. And if you want, you can also do a poll on which apps folks want added. And if you can share that with me, that's something I can then discuss internally. One of the cool things with the new platform is we can add new social networks very easily. The question is then obviously how to maintain those. Because we need to maintain them and we need to make sure that sharing works at all times, even when these platforms change how sharing happen and so on. And we absolutely want to do that, but we just want to make sure that we have our priorities right. And that's why, and you all can help us with that.
Super.
Spoutable is very similar to Threads or Twitter. So
Yeah.
I see there was another question from John. I mean, actually more of a comment. Speaking as someone who knows something about AI, simply don't know about the black box to use it as a tool, don't know where the data about my posts are housed, theoretically could voice posts from me in the future. I'm an AI fan, but all too aware of potential issues. So one thing I want to mention is using the accounts doesn't necessarily mean you'd also be using the AI functionality. One of the things we've done so far is we wanted to make sure that folks are actually comfortable. We never push things. For instance, 75% of the digital organizers are using our AI. There's still 25% who don't. It's not needed. What we hope is that to show folks that using AI can really help their engagement and can help them optimize posts and so on. In terms of the data itself, how the algorithm works is that our platform collects the data on shares and then comes up with predictions of how good posts would look like in the future. That stays with us. And then we send prompts that are built automatically to GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 to actually create the language in the posts, but GPT won't know what user on SoSha required that, right? We're simply sharing the prompt. The reason why we're using an external platform for language generation is because we want to make sure the language is good. The Demcast team knows that when we had moments when we even tried to build our own generative AI algorithm, but the content was not that good. The reason why we use state-of-the-art language generation is to make sure that the content that comes back is good enough. So that's really happy to spend more time on that. But that's how we're thinking of building this. If there's specific concerns about or ideas on how we can make sure that we can build this in a responsible way, that's why I'm joining these calls, right? So we're here to listen and we're here to take feedback. And obviously, you want to build something that's useful for folks.
all right, well, there's the poll pretty evenly split between, and I forgot Blue Sky. I just realized that. Sorry to Blue Sky users. So pretty evenly split between Spoutable and Mastodon. So
Cool. This is useful to know.
right. Well, we're gonna let Tudor go to bed now. We've kept him up long enough, and then we'll move into the second part, which
Thank you. Speak soon.
the Q&A will answer when we get to that point.
All right. So we are excited that this is not the only tech innovation that we're sharing about today. So I hope you all came to learn and absorb today. As many of you may know, probably primarily through the DNC, there's an app out there called Reach. The DNC used to use an app called Greenfly for content sharing, and they have switched over to Reach for this election cycle. We got on there, played around with it, and really, it's a big improvement over Greenfly from an organizing standpoint. I know that there might be some things that people take issue with or miss about Greenfly. For instance, getting an email when a new asset is shared. But overall, we liked what we saw, and so Demcast is now on the Reach app, And so we wanted to just walk through that. Jamie just dropped the link to join in the chat. Monica, yes, Reach can be used through a laptop or through a mobile app, either iOS or Android. So I'm going to share my screen here. And just to take a quick step back, so we've been looking for some place that as many of you know, we have Twitter direct message groups. We have, some of you know, we have Instagram direct message groups. We have our Slack. We have all these places, Facebook groups. So we have all these places where we communicate with people. We text you, we email you. We're knocking on your door all over the place. What we've really felt like we've been missing is a space for community congregation and for storage of shareable assets. The work that SoSha is doing, we feel that this is like fully complementary to the work that SoSha has done, and as opposed to duplicative. And I'll walk through some of that. So this is different from the toolkits, because of the features that are involved here. But really, we want to have a digital field team that's active, that's connected, that's coordinated for 2024, and we really think that the Reach app can help. Just as a step back, our mission is to empower and embolden you to use your voices to win the future. That's our mission statement at Demcast as a nonprofit. And in reality, your voices, using your voices to win the future requires, playing in the information space and getting dirty in the digital trenches. Wish it wasn't that way, but that's where we are. The right wing is way ahead of us on digital still. They're a formidable opponent, and we need to be organizing every way that we possibly can. Most people, most organizing bodies, most politicians, everybody thinks of social media users as targets for messaging, as receptacles. But the way that we think of social media users is that we're optimal deliverers of messaging, and obviously our work with Tudor and the SoSha team and this and now through this Reach app is just we're trying to deliver as many different tools to folks as we can to be successful in delivering messaging. So Reach is an app, both, like I said, both on the web, a web-based and on mobile. It was developed more as a voter engagement tool. It has lots of functionality that we're frankly just not going to use. They recently added the social sharing pieces and have been honing those, and they were really excited that Demcast wanted to sign up with Reach, because they know, just like we've done with Tudor and with SoSha, that the Demcast community can give them lots of feedback about improving the social sharing functionality in the app better than anybody else on that app is going to be able to. And they're excited about that. They want to have conversations with us. They want to hear about which buttons should be where, and how should the gallery functionality work, and all these things that we can, that as we're playing around with it, we're going to be able to provide them great feedback on. Different organizations use it for different purposes, though. The DNC is using it as well, I mentioned, and there's lots of local groups around the country and local campaigns around the country, like individual candidates whose campaigns are using Reach to largely for the functionality that we won't be using it for with Demcast, which is that's kind of voter outreach functionality. We're going to be using it for social sharing. So if you want to try this out, if you want to download the app, if you haven't already, there are multiple Reach apps on your app stores, so just be aware. that the one that we're going for is this Reach Progressive Organizing, and it's got the little ballot dropping into the ballot box. I think that's what that logo is anyway. That's what I see it as. So it can be downloaded there, or like I said, there's a web version, which is app.reach.vote, and we will make these slides available to folks. And so you can use it in either or both places. Once you've created a login, and this is one where you do create a login, you can log in either on the app or on the web. Okay, so now I'm going to switch this up and go over to the demo. Hang on. Just a sec. Oh my God, I have so many things open. Here, I'll just share my screen. Okay. Now you can see my obscene amount of tabs that are open. Okay. So that's actually not even that bad, to be honest. So when you first get into, so first you have to give them your phone number. It is required for getting into the app. I asked if that was required. She said it is currently. I lobbied to have it possible to just be able to log in with your email. They're taking that under advisement. But for now, just so you know, the Reach app doesn't do anything with your data. We do retain it at Demcast. We know whose name, we have your name and your phone number and your email, just to be perfectly honest. But we never, as a policy, as an organization, anytime you give us your information, we never give it to anybody else for any purposes. We don't do list swaps. We don't do any of that stuff. So when you come into the Reach app, I'm sharing the browser version, but the browser and the app version look very, very similar. So the functionality is very, very similar. You can browse in the campaign directory, and here you'll see, Agwan for Congress and the Albany Cares Group and the Arizona Working Families Party. So there's a long list of progressive and democratic leaning organizations that are using this content or using this application. I named ours 2024 Digital Field Team because that's what it is, and because by putting 2024, ours is right up at the top because it starts with numbers. And they did this in alphabetical order. So there was some strategy to that. We want people to find this in the app and join our team. So click on the 2024 Digital Field Team. And when you go there, first thing I just want to point out is that there's all these buttons at the bottom. There's home and search and all these buttons. And the only ones that we're going to be using are the home button, which is all the way on the left, and the chat button, which is all the way on the right. The ones that are in the middle really pertain to the voter engagement functionality that we're not using as an organization. If you join other groups within Reach, you may use that for the purposes of whatever their goals are. But for our purposes, we're just using the home and the chat. So you'll notice here when you go to the home button, there's an action feed and a library. Okay, so the action feed, kind of like with Mobilize, if you're familiar with Mobilize, it has a list of these, they call action cards in Reach. That's what these are called. So it's each one of these little cards has a different sort of action that you can take. And we're using that term broadly in for our purposes. You know, for instance, Jamie published here today messaging top lines from Leader Jeffries. So if you click on that, you know, is it taking action? Kind of. We're giving you the talking points that the minority leaders, you know, shared here. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing with these action cards is delivering messaging top lines from all the different places where we get them. So those will be resources for you. We do have the ability to, and will often sort of have a corresponding post at the bottom with a graphic or a video and a potential post that you can share, and I'll demonstrate the sharing functionality in a minute. But I just wanted to point out that like there's various ways that will be using these action cards. Another one is when we launch a new toolkit, we will create an action card, or if we're having a social media storm, we'll create a new action card. In this case, you know, there's this join groups and chats, which I'll talk about in a minute. But so there's the action cards have sort of multifaceted uses, but it's meant to be kind of like stuff that you can, that we're suggesting that you do or that you read, more or less. The other sort of tab here is the library tab. We're really excited about this. We've wanted a graphics library, a video library for a really long time. And we've just never found something that is outside of SoSha, which is great. But the functionality is a little different here. Where the first thing that you see is recent content. So this is all like in order of either how it's been edited or uploaded by us in the background. So every day when you log in here, we hope that you'll see new stuff, either like graphics or memes or videos that are like hopping on social media, that are viral, that are effective in terms of messaging. And then, so if you see something in this line here, you can click on it. And then if you read it and you like what it says, you can either just straight up download it, or if you click the share button, there will be a suggested post where you can copy the language, and then you can download it there. So there's a few different ways that you can sort of interact with, download, and share that content. The next sort of batch of info that you'll see on the library page is galleries. So that can be either content specific creators that we're partnered with, or who we think are effective in terms of content creation, like 11 Films. We have not all of, some of the 11 Films content was specific to different cycles, so we haven't included some of that stuff, but if it's still relevant to the current cycle, it's in here. And then when you click on the video and you click share, there's also some suggested language. So we're really excited to be able to highlight content from outfits that, you know, viral content like Occupy Democrats, and high quality content like 11 Films and Into Action. And then as time goes on, we'll create more galleries as we have need, that'll be either issue based or potentially location based, or content creator focused. The last section here, if you want to sort of a different take on it, is labels. So if you want, let's say you want to do an education post, you can click on education, and there's some Into Action content, and there's also an Occupy Democrats post, you know, that's in there. So the labels kind of cut across by issue area, or you know, potentially down the road again, you know, geography or something like that. So we'll continue to iterate. We didn't want to launch this until we actually had some stuff in here for you guys that's like a good base of content that you can start sharing right away. And our goal is now that we're live, to have this updated consistently, you know, on a daily basis with fresh stuff that's reflective of what's happening in the information scape. The last piece of reach that we're super excited about is the user groups. So if you log in and you go to the action cards, the one that we pinned to the top is join groups and chats. At the moment, this is the only button that we can conjure up for you to browse user groups. We've given the folks over at Reach the feedback that when you go to chat, there should be a thing at the top to browse all user groups and join from there, but that's currently not there yet. But that's why we're partnering with them to help them make their app more user-friendly. So when you click on the browse user groups, you'll see a lot of different options. The first one here is help, support, and questions. So that's just a general one for using the Reach app for Demcast stuff, like so that you can get sort of have your questions answered. That's how where we want to focus tech questions. But then we have the 24 presidential election, 24 House election, 24 Senate elections, and then we have platform specific groups. And so if you're on Twitter and TikTok, you know, you can join those groups. You don't have to join the other ones. But that's just a place where we can have sort of platform specific conversations, talk about what the algorithm's doing these days, and share, you know, effective content. So we're really excited about the user groups functionality. We want our user groups aren't going to be intended to be like a oh goody aren't going to be intended to be a retweet room. Thank you. I was like, what do we call those? A retweet room. So like we don't want you to drop all of your posts in those rooms. We're really kind of focused on curation there. So like if you have a banger of a post and it's just really good and you think that other people should be sharing it, or maybe we should clip it and turn it into a graphic or whatever, feel free to drop it in there. But also if you find other people's posts that are doing really well, we want, you know, we want those dropped in there. We want algorithm conversations to be happening. Not a ton of chit chat. You can, hang on. Hang on just a sec. I was go back. I'm learning too. Okay, chat. Here we go. You can. Okay, so when you go into the chat space, you can see the members that are in there. We've got 70 members in the team chat here. I did want to point out that, can you do it? Can you do it on, see, I'm learning too.
Did we just lose him? You're on mute. So anyway, you gotta love the world of text. It's fabulous. So we'll see if he comes back on, but there are a couple of questions. You know, are we still planning to use Slack and Mobilize? We're hoping to transition from Slack to Reach. However, we know not everybody will do it, and so we'll play that by ear. And someone asked what's going to happen to the Demcast app. That was an epic fail. Never did what we wanted it to. So we're hoping the Reach app will just kind of replace that in the future. So, so I will drop the links in one more time for everybody. That, you know, if you haven't joined, the address is not required to join. And I know people have also used Google Voice numbers for their phone number if you're not comfortable giving out your real phone number. So just wanted to flag that for everybody. And then the new campaign, I've added every major Senate candidate now has a video in here. And I've started to add some of our House candidates that just won the California primary. And so we'll be adding a lot more of those videos over the next few days. So any feedback, just shoot us an email or, you know, DM us on Slack or Reach. So thanks everyone for joining. We're already 4 minutes over. And then quick before we go, this is Ryan. Wanted to do a quick introduction for everybody because he is really going to help us behind the scenes on Reach. So, and he is doing a lot of our union content. So we just wanted to do a quick introduction so you all get familiar with Ryan. So welcome. Yeah, and you know, Mobilize is really to sign up for events, and we're going to keep pushing out Mobilize events. Mobilize is not going away. Reach is really more of a direct contact. So they're two very different roles. And if you go to like the DNC or Wisconsin Dems, you'll actually see them embedding Mobilize into their event feeds. So they're actually working together on that. And yes, if people need another training on Reach, we are more than happy to do another training. Once you get in, it's actually it's really pretty simple to use once you just start playing around in there a little bit. So. All right, all right, I think we are all done. So thank you all so much for joining, and we will see you all in 2 weeks back here. Bye.